The story you're about to see is a perfect illustration of the changes now taking place in Iran, the country that confounded the world last spring by electing a president determined to create a freer, more tolerant society. Nothing proves that more than what happened when a man accused of killing his 8-year-old daughter recently went on trial. It wasn't an easy case to prosecute because Islamic law makes it virtually impossible to convict a man of killing his own child. But this case outraged Iranian women who demanded justice, and we were there in the courtroom. Like all trials in Iran, this one begins with a prayer. Religion, Islam, permeates every aspect of life here, including settling accounts for the death of a little girl, Ariane Golshani.
You are charged with the murder of your sister, inflicting injuries on her and breaking her arms.
I take God for a witness that I did not hit my sister with the intent to kill her.
Under Islamic law, the husband gets custody of the children after a divorce, and so the court gave Ariane to her father, even though he was a drug addict with a criminal record, and even though Ariane's mother, Nahid Najipour, had documented his physical abuse of Ariane. This courtroom is full of women protesters who want the custody law changed and who want to make sure that Ariane's father is punished for her death. You found out in a newspaper that your daughter was killed.
I hadn't seen my daughter for more than a year and a half. I didn't know if I should go to the hospital or the morgue. I didn't know what to do. It was so dreadful. I still cannot believe she's dead.
When you got on the stand in the courtroom, what did you ask for?
Revenge. But later I regretted it because execution is quick and my daughter's suffering was not.
From the official report, we know that there were burn marks on Ariane's body, that her skull was fractured, that her arms were broken, and that she weighed only about 35 pounds. How can anybody treat their child this way?
A man can be crueler than any animal.
Shirin Ebadi represents Ariane's mother. She is an outspoken crusader for women's rights. But Ebadi knows she can't make Ariane's father pay for his crime, because by law here, a father can't be convicted of killing his own child.
If Ariane's father had strangled her to death in front of everybody, he would not have been punished.
It's incredible. And the clerics, the courts, didn't understand that? That here was a completely unsuitable situation, but yet the child had to stay with the father until she was killed?
The court is responsible for the murder of Ariane. The law is responsible for the murder of Ariane. It wasn't just her father who killed her.
But by turning this trial into a fight for women's rights, Shirin Ebadi treads on sensitive ground, and the cleric presiding over this court rebukes her.
These rules are in the Quran and are set by God, who is almighty. The learning of all people is not equal to one drop of God's wisdom, so we cannot question the knowledge of God.
When he told you that you knew nothing about Islam, when the court told you that and therefore stop interfering, what did you make of that?
I said I don't object to Islam. But the study of the Quran, our holy book, is not reserved to clerics or men. Women have only recently had access to higher education. Before, men could interpret religion and philosophy to serve their own interests.
10 days later, the judge issues his verdict. Arian's father, Ali, is acquitted of murder, but he's sentenced to 2 years in prison for hurting his little girl. Arian's stepbrother, Ramtin, doesn't get off so easily. He's found guilty of murder, and he can be hanged, but only if Arian's mother pays the blood money. $8,000 to compensate her stepson's family. If Ramtin had killed a boy, he would have been hanged outright. Was justice served in Arian's case, do you think?
No, not at all. 3 days after the verdict, Arian's father was freed, and he was the main cause of this murder.
Arian's father is out on bail, and he's threatened to get even. Do you think, as terrible as it is, what happened to her might help other people in her situation?
I hope so. If other children are saved, it would be like saving my own children. And maybe Arian's soul will rest easier.
Indeed, Arian's death has already made a difference. Iran's parliament has now amended the custody law. A judge can no longer simply give a child to an unfit father. Marzieh Sediri is a conservative member of Iran's parliament, and she too supports amending some of the laws affecting women. But at the same time, she insists, Iranian women have more rights than most in the Middle East.
There are many people all over the world. They want their women to be as active as Iranian women.
So you don't think the scarf and this all-enveloping cloak restricts you?
No, not at all. Actually, makes me much more safe.
Safe from what?
Safe from eyes.
Eyes? It's one of the ironies of Iran's revolution that despite the inequity of Islamic law and rules dictating everything from segregated bus lines to what women can wear on the street, women have made real progress here in the last 19 years.
We started with giving more chances to the women for education. And now the literacy of the women, which was 27%, has increased to 75%. The position of the women in governmental jobs, in the level of managerial jobs, has increased a lot.
Compared to America's allies in the region, like Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, Iran's women are much freer. And on some issues, the Islamic Republic is pushing programs that even Western women find progressive. For instance, anyone seeking a marriage license must attend family planning classes, and birth control after marriage is free.
We have to give our women the chance to grow. And after that, they are going to find their places.
You say the members of parliament have got to be re-elected and therefore have to listen to the people. But will they listen to women?
Yes, provided that women speak up. In the beginning of the revolution, I could be persecuted for speaking out. Now I hear the same things said in the parliament by women who 15 years ago considered me an enemy.